Cool, they should be clear. 4 well.
Yeah, Tier 3, when you see any movement in there.
Hi, my name's Daniel and you're watching the Rogue Clone Trooper channel. For those of you who have been watching my channel, you will know that I've been building a Captain Rex Jungle Assault Uniform, and I finally got it finished there for the end of June. Basically I was hoping to have the costume done for the beginning of June for a festival here in Japan, but unfortunately because of many things happening in my life I wasn't able to get it done, and that was that. Then slowly I was able to get more and more parts, and just before the end of just after the middle of June, I was contacted by the Jedi Order here in Japan and asked very nicely would I like to take part in the opening of the Han Solo movie in Osaka. They were doing a troop on the 30th of June. It officially opened here in Japan on the 29th of June, which is 1 month later than the rest of the world. Why? I'm still not too sure. I have a funny feeling because they were trying to find the voice actors who were going to redo it in Japanese. It's a thing they do here in Japan. They like to have everything dubbed for them. And so I was honoured and turned around and said yes. It's probably the only troop I'll be able to get to do with them this year, so I eagerly said yes to them, which also meant that I had another predicament. I had to finish the costume as soon as possible, and I had some problems. As you've seen in my last video, I had already completed the main body of the suit, the boots, the holster and the actual sidearms as well. I was waiting for gloves to come in. These are the actual leather gloves that I finally got. These are Winter Palace gloves, size 9. They normally have a lining inside which I cut out because I didn't need a further lining and just left it with the normal leather lining. They have one button stud on it. Why I picked these gloves is because they have no stitching on the back of the hand and the palm is just gently done, which means then that you have a lovely fitted glove, which is exactly what Captain Rex wears with his costume. Also it means that later on, if I wish to, I could also wear this with my clone, Sergeant Clone uniform as well, as it has no markings on it and is totally formed as well. So I had picked them up and I'd been waiting for those to arrive, and they finally arrived. The other main part of my costume, well, two main parts of my costume that I had to do, was the helmet and backpack. I was originally hoping to outsource these to some other people, but again, because of personal problems, I would not have the funding to do this, which means I had to rethink exactly how I was going to make this costume. I originally was planning on trying to make a complete EVA foam helmet, and it was kind of a daunting idea to do. Then I happened to come across a news article written about the actual costume that I was making, and it was basically said that the Captain Rex costume was based on the Endor Rebels costume, that Captain Rex was supposed to have basically inspired the Rebel costume as well as trained the Rebel fighters for Endor. Thinking about this and how then the helmet that the Rebels wear in Endor, they wear it's actually, as far as I know, it's a Soviet tank helmet, or a tank helmet anyway from the Soviet bloc era, which means then that it is basically a cloth covered hat with the protective rim around the outside of it. Thinking about that, I went back to look again at Captain Rex's headwear and came more and more to the conclusion that what he was wearing actually was a peaked cap with a keepy at the back, and then the head armor on top of that, which was the bracer around the side pieces and earphones. and rangefinder. Going with this idea, then I went and sourced the blueprints for the Imperial Officers peaked cap. Then sourcing for my own range of hats, because I like to collect hats. I found I had a baseball cap with an overly large peak for the front of it, so taking this and the blueprint, I was able to make something that I think is what Captain Rex was wearing. Now, as you'll see in the video later on, my daughter actually helped me make this hat. It's her first piece that she's doing. I'm trying to teach her slowly how to make things. And this is how I made my hat. Basically, the main part of it, as I said, is an Imperial Officer's hat. Then the peak part is from a baseball cap that I had for hiking, which is an oversized peak on it, which suits perfectly as Captain Rex's peak. He seems to be very, very long, slightly straight in the front. And then if you look closely at his headwear, you'll find that there is actually the bottom part of the keepy sticking out the bottom. And this actually comes in quite handy when actually wearing the costume, and I'll explain later on. That was the main part of the hat. The other part then was making this. As there is no blueprints on how to make this, I basically had to find as much resource material as I could and then form it out of EVA foam. So the main part of this is EVA foam, which is 2 parts sealed at the back and on the front. Originally I had made this part out of EVA foam as well, but later on realized that it would not hold its shape under stress. So this is actually made from styrene card, and then EVA foam at the bottom. The ear covers, again, were a work in progress, basically because of the weird angle and shape that they're at, because they're wider and sloped at the bottom part but narrow at the top, but they have to be flushed sideways. So originally I had used the rubber foot that you can buy, or rubber feet that you can buy to put on chairs, as the main part to go inside this, but quickly found out that it wasn't the correct shape, but it had given me a good enough mold to actually hold the EVA foam onto. So I had to cut the EVA foam into a crescent moon shape, which then fitted, actually made this shape, and adding extra pieces on the side. Again, then the rangefinder holder is again EVA foam with styrene card on the front and on the top and on the bottom. Rangefinder, piece of plastic tubing. The actual piece on the top, again using reference photographs from the internet, I was able to make a template and made this by hand. I've even got a piece of, don't know if you can see that, green lens underneath. And that's basically the armor part of the hat. Now I did find that once I put it on, that it quickly went out of shape because it's EVA foam. So I've had to reinforce that again by using styrene card molded around into the correct shape and then put into place to actually keep the shape of the hat. Now I'm not going to put this on for you right now. I'll show you some photographs later on. Just in the middle of the Japanese summer, and I'm hitting 80 degrees heat here. Sorry, 80 degrees humidity, and the temperature's about 35 at the moment, so it's pretty hot. So we can hear a fan in the background, so I do apologize. But basically this part then sits over the hat like so, and this then gives you the Captain Rex hat. Now I told you that this part at the back actually comes in very handy, and the reason for that is it actually catches the sweat coming off your head while wearing this thing, because this thing does create some heat, and I found it greatly a great help for that, for catching the sweat coming off my head. So that was really useful for that. That was the main part of the hat. The next part then was the goggles. I wasn't too sure how I was going to make these, but then I remembered I had an old pair of goggles which I used to use for airsoft. These are actually real parachuting goggles that were made for the Special Forces. I had bought them on recommendation when I was doing airsoft that they would be anti-fogging, which didn't work. So I never really used them, but I used them as the lenses, and then using again EVA foam, made the template on the outside, attach rubber bands. That then gave me Captain Rex's goggles. By removing some of the foam at the bottom, gave me better airflow and stops them from fogging up so much, but I do have to use also anti-fogging gel. Now I do have one problem with wearing glasses or goggles, and that's my nose, because I have a pretty big nose and gets in the way of most things, so things don't always sit correctly, unfortunately, on my face. That's the main top part. Now I'm going to bring you in to have a look at the pack. The pack itself was again something I had to make from scratch using templates, so we're going to talk about that now. Right, this is my Captain Rex's jetpack. First of all, I do apologise for the sound of the airplane in the background. If anyone knows, we had a few disasters here in the south of Japan, southwest of Japan, and at the moment they've got search and rescue planes and helicopters going around still. But this is my pack. Again, this is fully made out of styrene card. Originally, when I was making this, what I had to do was make a paper template and make it out of cardboard first, to make sure that I had everything correct, and then once the cardboard template was made, taken apart and then used to cut out the styrene. So this is the front part of the armor. This is his chest plate, and you can see he has his logo put onto it. This is attached by two belt clips here, and these are glued into place. As you can see, this is EVA foam, and then once again on top I have styrene card, and I have some metal washers then holding it into place. The shoulder straps are actually belts, and they are slightly elasticated, so they do stretch a little bit, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, these have to be replaced. I ran out of time and I ended up using some silver foil, aluminum tape, to make these buckles, but these will be replaced now with proper metal buckles. The top of the jetpack, so move around here, these were actually cups for your bathroom with the bottoms cut out and dremelled into shape, and this part up here is actually PVC piping for drainage. Moving down the pack, we have these pouches on the side. These are actually tobacco boxes with, again, styrene card glued on the front to give it an extra piece. The jets themselves, this is a cork ball that you can get here, and then PVC piping, and these are actually plastic cups which are fully painted. And at the bottom here you can see his 3 thermal detonators. These are actually something I will be replacing with proper ones, proper 3D printed ones, but at the moment these are actually tennis balls, which again are covered in aluminum tape, holes drilled into them, and little LED lights placed into the wires going into the back. The switches are made from modeling clay craft clay that you can buy here. Okay, and that's really it. That's the backpack itself. It's actually constructed in 2 parts. We have the small box in the front and then the main body part. Now I'm going to flip her over and I'm going to show you how it is all held together. So this is the back of the pack. Okay, what I've done is I've put in a wooden frame which is screwed into the back of it. I was going to stiffen it out with some polystyrene card, but this stuff isn't strong enough, so I inserted the wooden frame. I have screws and washers then to hold the straps into place, make sure that they don't move and they're in a crisscross fashion. Also taped onto the back of this then is the actual battery pack and switch for the lights. You can see the cables coming out the back there. This means that my batteries can be replaced very easy, and then my on-off switch is easily acceptable. Even when I have to pack on, I can just reach around, switch it on or off. Okay, so thanks for watching that. Please watch to the very end of the video. I'm going to put now how I made the certain parts of this costume, putting together the hat, the backpack. I don't have any fancy inserts, unfortunately, to this video. The main reason being is that I used to edit all those things on my old iPhone, and the batteries died on it, meaning that I lost a lot of the videos that were on it about making this costume, so I have to get the replacement battery for that. But I also had the program which I used to use for inserting different parts into my videos for video editing, and I've lost that capability until I can change the battery, so I do apologise, but I'm hoping to get that up and running shortly. Until then, please enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button and check out my other videos. If you are interested in cosplaying and not too worried about having it looking too accurate, please check out the Imperial Outlanders. You will find their webpage on Facebook. They have different groups all over the world at the moment, mainly in America, England, some across Europe, and do check them out. They are also in Australia. Don't forget our friends in Australia. They are a fun and friendly Star Wars cosplay group that welcomes anybody with any type of standard costume. As long as you're into Star Wars, into cosplaying, you're happily welcome to join them. That's it for now. As always, may the Force be with you. So right, I've spent a few minutes cutting out all the parts of the pack, and so what I'm going to do now, using pictures on my phone as a reference, I'm going to start gluing this together, and I'm just going to use quick setting super glue. I don't have anything fancy to do really with it, so I'm going to crack on with this and we will see how it goes. Back to you shortly. just to let you know, I am going to try to get this costume cleared by the 501st and by the Rebel Legion, as Captain Rex can be in both. There is a few things I need to fix in the costume before doing that. One, as I said before, is the thermal detonators. I have 3 of them ordered, 3D printed. They are on their way from Mississippi in America, so they will be here hopefully in the next few weeks. I've also got to replace the metal clips on the shoulders from the aluminum foil ones to proper clip ones. After that, I will be submitting it for clearance. I will keep you updated on how that goes once I have it done. So please wish me luck. As again, until then, may the force be with you.